Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is about time to get into it. The players are getting ready. The knife round has just ended, and we are just waiting to see which side our knife round winner, Axolotl, is going to choose to go with. Welcome to the stream, everybody. My name is Austin, Osto, whatever you want to call me, but I will be gracious enough to be your host for the foreseeable future in this best of 5 here in the round of 64 of the ESEA Season 54 Pro League, or not Pro League, Season 54 Open, NA Open, to speak. But in our hearts, these are the pros, because these are the 10 players we're going to be cheering on as we jump into the game. On Axolotl's side, it's simple. Dan Contracts, Lukoki, Borjaf, and Slugger going up against Astral wins, Buttermo, VPL, Teisel, Hobo Baggins, and ACO, And we're going to see where does Astral Wins choose to take this. Important to mention, this was Astral Wins' pick. Axolotl, the higher-seeded team, did have the opportunity to choose. Did they want to... Oop, VPL turning away at just the wrong moment. That's going to be Borjaf's first kill, but Hobo not going to allow it untraded for long. It's an immediate trade out over in mid. But are they ready? Borjaf, he's waiting back here, trying to see if he'll be gifted something over against this long side. And it wants to jump us over onto the feet cam again, so we'll take things a little manual. Borjaf going to spot out some players over towards the back at the same time. Dan going to rein in with one himself, but now falling back. Teisel looks to try and find him. Will he be able to do so? It's a nade out from Dan to try and just land some damage, but right now it's an open A bomb site. They do still have Borjaf in the top of mid, so if it's a fallback, if ACO gets a little over-eager down here towards lower, it could just be some more heads falling, and it will actually be Dan claiming ACO in the lower area, as now it's a retake onto this A bomb site. 2v4 situation. Lukoki trying to get Oak and some early frags here. Meanwhile, Borjaf, jumping high, does get spotted out, does get dinked quick, and a 2k from Teisel puts it into a 1v2 situation. It's Butter. He has to do it. He knows where the first is. Now he knows where the second is, but it looks like he's still a little wary of long. He sees both these CT approachers, but not able to hit the shots, and that'll give Dan Contracts and Slugger their way into a first round. The pistol won by them, and a 4k on Dan's head. He is going to be more than happy with that, but of course we can't forget Borjaf. The round starts off with him slamming his way through mid, catching VPL on a very unlucky timing, but very luckily for Axolotl, the team converges off that, and even though they give up that A-bomb side, a 2k from Teisel is not enough to keep them in it in the 2v4. So now, going to be some immediate forces here, some rifles coming out, a FAMAS and M4, the rest of the players on MP9s as they go up against the Deagles, the Tech 9s, and the P250 of Butter, and it looks like this might be the correct call as it's a 5-man push over towards long. MP9 spots out one early, but very little damage exchange. Actually, VPL is getting tagged down. Teisel finds one. Slugger trades it out onto the low HP'd VPL. Slugger trying to do his best here at 3k for him, trying to get anything else out of the situation, but it's ACO to trade it, and now the captain, Buttermo, thrust into it once more, where he needs to try and find something, squeeze some water from Stone here to get something out of this round for Astral Wins on top of those 2 frags, and still just not able to connect onto the headshots here, and the nade will finish it, but Lukoki gets in there before he can even have a chance. Wonder if it's Lasoki. Not really sure. Wish I had some way of knowing. If anybody in the chat does know these players better and I'm butchering any of the names, please let me know. But in the meantime, I don't think they're going to be too upset with what they're being called, because what they're getting is 2 rounds straight. But now, perhaps the first test of the CT side, the AK is going to come out. Dan's still yet to fall and sitting pretty on 5 kills. So he's going to be more than happy just to try and further his connection here onto some more kills. Koki gonna just be spotting out here alongside his teammate, and it's a slow play so far. We do have Borjaf scouted up already in lower. Is VPL going to be ready for this possibility? Is Borjaf... he gets off the angle. Was smoked out, so unlikely if he was... or unsure if he was going to be able to spot it out anyway. But Teisel will claim the first frag of the round, take out that scouter. And now it looks like the boys in yellow want to try another A-side attack. VPL gets a kill towards CT, but now Slugger M4'd up, down over in the spawn position, traded out by Hobo, and already a 5 versus 2 simple. Gonna have to do some complex maneuvers on the site to pull out a clutch here as the aggressors approach. The smoke goes out, he turns to try and deny. Didn't know if he thought that was a flash or if he was just trying to slip by it. And it looks like we're going to jump through over to Dan, who has 1 left in the tank. So now, 1 remaining. And Dan, he just wants to save this M4, keep himself a flawless streak at 6 kills and 0 deaths. Gonna take Teisel out of this round, and that money is nothing to sneeze at here, as it does, of course, mean it's gonna be a little bit of a difficult buyback next round. He will buy back nonetheless, but limited util unless one of his teammates decides to drop for him. But regardless, Astral wins a bomb plant, only losing 1 player in the round. They're gonna call that a success, and with it, they're gonna follow through and look to strike twice. So the bonus gun's gone. Borjaf, not really sure how he has such low money here, especially when they were, of course, winning pretty well those first 2 rounds, but 5-7 going to be needed from him, and MP9 on his compatriot at the same time. Oh, Borjaf, okay, I think that is just a UI glitch somehow. It's showing us he's on a 5-7. He's actually M4'd up. And Dan gonna be found early by Hobo. VPL as well, chiming in onto Simple Butter. He wants to probe down here towards lower. And no, actually, Borjaf is on a 5-7. I'm not sure why it was, I don't know exactly what was happening there. Maybe I just swatched to somebody else and thought I was on Borjaf still. Let's 1 go by, let's 2 go by. This could be big. That's the bomb. 1, 2! Gets an AK for the trouble, but now he's in a precarious spot. He knows there's a player above him. He knows there's a player in front of him. And Hobo, he calls it out. Teisel's there to assist. And Lakoki, he comes through with 1 himself. But now a 1 versus 2, 20 HP. And while Borjaf might have done some phenomenal work to get Axolotl a chance back into this, it is going to have to be some magical work from Lakoki to get them over the line. And Hobo denies it, tying the scoreline back up 2-2. And things are starting to get dicey. I say that, as we are only on the 5th round, but we are seeing very limited money over on the Axolotl side. That round, of course, was already a half buy from them. And now they're having to just go down onto the pistols. So do they choose to try and take this fast towards a site? Do they try to, I don't know, try to consolidate? Yes, it's over towards long, where we see Teisel trying to probe a little bit early. At the same time, these 4 attackers want to try and swarm through at the same time. Borjaf in mid, wanting just to see if anybody's going to walk into his end. Teisel finds Dan. Will be VPL. Spotting out over against his opponent in Slugger. And ACO finding Borjaf. So now only 1 player remaining. It's Simple. Over in the door. He does get spotted out by ACO. Does manage to still find a frag. And we're gonna go ahead. We might try to restart the stream real quick because I am seeing that there are some issues, it looks like. So at the end of this round, we might try to do a lightning quick reset just to get ourselves a workable cam. So thank you, Shorts, for calling that out in the chat. Not really sure quite what the issues are. It must be an issue on the stream end. So apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We will have, of course, the video good to go at the end. But it looks like we're a little overzealous here trying to multi-stream this. Regardless, we have an early frag. Not found yet. Thought maybe that nade would allow for something. Koki going to be spotting out over towards this B-bomb site. At the same time, ACO will spot out. Alright, so apologies. A quick stream reset to try and get us a more watchable feed for everybody at home, and that is my mistake, so I apologize there for anybody who is having some difficulties, but we are still here in round number 6. Astral wins still up by 1, 4 versus 5 situation. And right now, just still a slow play. Teisel found early on in the round, and 30 seconds remaining. Looks like it's going to be a cat hit here, so Dan Contracts going to have to come up big here in the 1 versus 4 against the cat players. Does decide to fall back a little bit more on the ramp. A flash comes out to delay 17 seconds. Hobo finds 1. Lower side player trying to secure some as well. 3 left on the site. Slugger tags in onto Hobo, and now 2 very low HP players, but they are finally back on the bomb site. It's simple. Claiming the life of ACO and VPL. He's going to have to come up big. Finds the first. Can't find anything more. And the 4th round secured. Or sorry, 3rd round secured for Axolotl, and we fight to see who will get a 4th.
Counter-terrorists win.
Apologies, just trying to check and see if our hardware issue has been resolved. It looks like it might have been, so again, I do apologize for everybody for that slight technical issue. But hopefully now we'll be good to go for the rest of the game. So thank you, Shorts, for calling it out. Yeps, looks like some mistakes over here on my end, but hopefully now we will be good to go to see who will reclaim the next round in this back and forth affair. Hobo, nice headshot onto Simple there, just trying to bully with some nades through the smokes. Or, yes, that is the correct logical argument. A little bit confusing there, but, you know, English is a tough language. And now Astral once again just choosing to play this slowly. CT's still not giving up over towards B, and it looks like this is where they like to default. They like to just put 1 down in CT. They have been cheating a second over towards A now to start out the rounds, but right now it looks to be maybe going against them. They are going to have Borjaf and his compatriot and Slugger ready for a fast rotate up, but they have to be mindful of this mid-take. That is, of course, cost them one of these previous rounds. Lakoki and Long going to find 1 at the same time. At this point, already the CT-sided players have been given time to push through, given time to reposition. VPL going to be a crucial frag. He finds Dan Contracts. That's an open B bomb site, and that's news for Butters. That says, hey, you can probably come on over. Borjaf finds 2, and now... Oh no, they find the frag to open up B, but they find nothing on A. Borjaf a massive 2K. As Axolotl, they're still convinced this might be an A hit, and it might come big onto Slugger. Finally hearing the flash, it's going to be big for Slugger. Needs to try and spot out, get some damage here. Spots out the player towards big box, but the bomb will go down. So Slugger just going to buy some time for his teammates to rotate over. At the same time on the site, VPL and Butter, they're trying just to set up and hold off against any incoming attack, and of course they can't disregard the possibility that a play through the tunnels will occur. But right now it's all 3 players looking to come through these doors. Butters, will he be able to hit this shot? He hits the first. Can he hit the second? He can't, but VPL can! And Butter comes through in the end. Borjaf, a trade, but not enough to get the second, and he gets 3 on the round, but the 4th isn't there, and Astral wins will take their 4th round after a grueling affair there. Almost every round taking the full duration. An early frag will come out, but nobody able to capitalize onto a second until later, when we will finally see some exchange of goods. And now back to the pistols as Axolotl. It looks like they want to cheat back over towards Long. No, it looks like maybe a little bit of a cat push, long push, mid push. Just trying to play up close and personal. Simple gonna throw a smoke just to try and bait out this player over in tunnels. Does find the headshot, but doesn't find the frag. At the same time, Butter, he chimes in alongside Hobo to find 1 apiece. Borjaf trying to fight down here towards lower, and the molly comes out. Borjaf, he wants to try and take another fight. Knows there's a player up close. 1 shot could be the difference, and it will, but towards Hobo. So now a take. This time leaning over towards B, it's Lakoki in a spot to do some damage, but Teisel claims him, and now it's just Slugger here in the CT spot, trying to find something out of nothing in this round. And already he has a player looking to flank him. He has ACO dropping down. They don't know he's in the smoke. It shouldn't take them long to figure it out. They know he was here. And yes, they will find him. Hobo from behind will claim it. 3K for him on the round. Currently the frag leader for the team and frag leader for the server. We'll pull open the scoreboard for you guys just so you can take a little bit of a look at what we are dealing with here across the board. So, Astral wins up to 5, but now they have to do it against the rifles, and more specifically against the op. Borjef, he's been doing some damage throughout the game so far, but can he connect on the big green? Or should I say the big orange, big tan? Don't know what we're calling the op, Paul. Same time, VPL, he's going to be opt up as well. It's not going to connect. The flash, perfectly timed. And Teistel, found in mid. Borjef finds him over the smoke. So an early advantage found, but this time favoring the CT side. At the same time, Simple Lukoki looking to try and push up, aggress over towards long a little bit. Hobo trying to see if he can claim anything as well. And Borjef just playing this tight angle, so Hobo, it could be a dangerous game for him. And the smoke will come through. Ooh, he goes before it, and that could have been a very risky play. Luckily it pans out. Gonna flash up on the cat. At the same time, Simple still playing up here towards these doors. Borjef holding towards mid. And this time they've leaned over towards A. They've left Slugger alone on this B bomb site. And right now it's looking to be the correct call. It is looking like these rifles are going to have to come up big. And it might specifically be on Dan if this does come through as a cat play. But he does have Lukoki still just floating around, willing to assist when needed. Borjef hunting, spots out one, not able to connect. Takes a good bit of damage in the process, but the T's, they're not quite sure what to do. This is making Lukoki a little uncertain about what he needs to do in this spot, but VPL, his ult finally gets a chance to rain out. Lukoki from CT, trying to push up, trying to do something here on the rotate. He finds that op. Will he be able to connect onto anything else? Simple will. And now a 2v4 on the site. Make it a 2v3 as Butter finds his first. But Simple rotating him from long already. Borjef, he wants to try and connect with the op here, but he's up against Butter close range. At the same time, Simple fells his teammate, and Borjef will do it again with the op. 2k from him, 2k from Simple, and Lukoki to get himself a frag in the round as well and keep Axolotl within 1. A back-and-forth game of Dust 2 thus far, and it's coming down to individual performances in every round. And in that situation, Astral wins. They managed to push out, they managed to push towards the site, but they just aren't sure exactly where they need to focus their efforts. Turns it into a 2v4 early, and they do try to salvage something in that spot, but it's not enough to foot them over the line. Now we'll jump back over. It says we're on Borjef, but of course we're over on the T side, but we will pop over to Slugger, who will once again be solo manning the B site, and it's a fast play towards long. The flash, perfect, but ACO a little slow on the kill. Does finally connect onto it. ACO, will he be ready for this pit player? He will now that he knows this molly has come out, smokes it away, but Simple, he has to come big. Boosted player off the barrel is going to allow him an early damage, and he's going to get 3 from it. And oh my goodness, Simple making it seem easy there. Putting himself back into the positive KD. 7-6 now for him. And Astral wins. They're going to be asking themselves where it went wrong. Dankentrax is, of course, here on the flank. Is he going to be ready for this T-spawn player? Well, it might come down to a timing, because Butter seems aware. Might have seen the shadow there on the approach. And this will come down potentially to this 1v1. At the same time, teammate going to fall back to try and assist, and Dan, he's not going to risk giving away a 2-man lead, so he's just going to fall back to Cat. And very disciplined play coming out of the aquatic team. Simple just going to be playing close to this smoke, the nade, only doing a tad bit of damage onto Teisel. And it's a flash into long. He's not going to be ready, but the flick! Oh, it doesn't connect. And Simple finally felled by Butter, but Borjef comes through to avenge his comrade, and Simple, an absolutely huge 4K on the round to rip Axolotl back into equality. And Astral wins. Just going to be a little disappointed in how that long play looked. It did look so good from the start, but just not able to capitalize. And Simple just makes it look simple. with 3 found frags just to close it out early. And now here, we might be seeing an opportunity for this solo player on B to have some action. ACL wants to go over towards lower. If he does, Borjaf will be ready and waiting for them. And it looks like already Slugger having some idea that he needs to rotate, but the smoke's not going to go over towards CT. It's just going to be on the site. Dan, in the meantime, finds 2. Butter trades it out, gets himself a second. And we're going to see a 3-man retake needed here on the B site. Some missed utility, and Butter forces himself off the angle. At the same time, player over in tunnels. Teisel, he's burning alive to Lakoki's molly. And now the CTs, they want to try and forge onto this site. They've already smoked over towards Tons. And ACO, will he be able to find anything? He will, as Butter distracts towards the site. A 3K raining out, and Astral wins, finally getting themselves back in the lead. Up 5-3. It has been a battle each and every round for these teams, trying to fight just to get themselves back in it. And now we're looking to see, will Astral Winds end this half winning it, or is Axolotl going to fight their way to an equal score line and give themselves a pretty good chance at starting off the T side, on a tear? Well, I'm currently in spawn for the T's, and that's not going to be something they're in love with, but Butter will grab it on the rotate, it looks like. At the same time, early setup towards mid, and Borjaf spotted out early? But doesn't matter when you're the one to hit shots like that and gets the first. Teisel out of the round. He no longer has an opportunity to impact this T scoreline. Lakoki, low money this round, does force out the Deagle. And gotta be said, a very nice Deagle skin. Big fan of those stickers on that gun. And Borjaf getting tagged low. But will he hit this shot? It's an op v op. VPL versus Borjaf, and Borjaf once again the victor in the duel. Slugger reclaiming the position, already smoked off, but is going to be allowing himself some sort of opportunity. At the same time, Hobo has probed a little over towards B, and it is Dan Contracts the only player holding it, but of course, sitting on that XM at close range, it's going to be a little bit risky. Hobo, of course, having no way to know that, but in this position, usually when you're pushing out, players tend to look over towards the right side. This molly could force this player away. Early smoke over towards CT. Borjaf forced off the angle. Dan Contracts. This could be huge for him. He finds a first. Can't find the second. Butter and ACO connect. And from 2v5 to 2v2. It's an open sight. Butter spotting out the boost there. And a good attempt there from Simple and Slugger to try and find something out of that smoked off position. But now they're going to be forced into doing it all a cappella. Only one flash here. It's on Slugger. Looking to toss it in. ACO finds it before that flash comes out. Butter taking the fight, and it's all on Slugger. 1 versus 2. Has to try and secure it. Gets the first. Can he find Butter? He knows where he is. Going on the hunt. Going in close, and Butter. It's an early spray, but it's not enough. Slugger. Oh, no. No kit on him. No time for this. Picks one up off the site. Is there enough time? No! An Axolotl! They lose the half 5-7. And Astral wins with the hair left on the timer. They managed to pull it off and maintain a lead. And great attempt there in the clutch situation, but just not enough to get it over the line. And that lack of kit ends up not really costing him too much. Does pick it up on the run-in, but good play from Butter, just falling away and forcing that far fight. Each and every round has been an absolute minefield for both of these teams. But now, it's Astral Wind's turn to set the mines, and Axolotl's to walk right into the Lion's Den. Who will be coming out with less feet than they went into this round with. Astral, they start with only ACO over on this site, and now Teisel floating back and forth as Butter holding the mid spot. And Axolotl, they're more than willing to take this slow, especially as VPL Clearing towards top mid, so it's going to be a call to rotate over. Could this be a little bit too long on the push? Slugger pushes in. He actually gets a team kill on the board. Jeff ACO finds another. Teisel trading as well. And a 2v3 now is Slugger claiming Teisel's life and claiming Butters as well to make it a 2 versus 2. So now on the site, Lakoki, Slugger needing to try and fight this out. And VPL, he's pushing alongside his teammate, but both of them getting tagged hard by Slugger, who is hitting these out of the park and gets a third for himself as well. So now Lakoki trying to play this against Hobo. No kit on the back of the remaining CT, but that's enough for Hobo. Baits out the peek from door, secures it in the 1v1. And that push, it was off to a rough start there from the T's, especially after that Team K onto Borjaf. But Slugger coming up absolutely huge, simple as well with a kill. And it's all on Hobo to have to clutch that in the end. Well played from him, nicely placed shot. And Astral Winds will maintain their lead, extending it up to 3. So the question has to be asked, how many more rounds are we looking to see on this Dust 2 second half? Only 5 for Astral Winds to claim it. 8 for Axolotl. And it still is anyone's game. We have the scout of Borjaf just trying to spot out somebody in mid, and a smoke going to come out late just to block off any sort of info from Mr. Hobo Baggins. Just going to tap away towards top mid. This actually could lose him his life if he's not careful. He does get tagged down to 50 for it. Flash in mid. Still just not sure where they want to hit. Grouped up in mid. All 5 T-side players actually condensing on this position. And it's Butter jiggling the angle. Going to be an important spot, and Hobo finding one in the meantime. The molly delays any further hit, but Hobo, very low HP, still finds a second in the spot. Slugger trading him out, and now it looks like they're just going to smoke over towards CT and try to book it towards B, so Teisel going to be in a world to do a lot of damage, and will he be able to on the attack? At the same time, spam's coming out from CT. Teisel spots 1, spots 2, and he claims both kills, noting this third player as well in mid. Slugger, very low HP for him, and the HP doesn't last long when ACO's on the hunt. So 9-5 as Astral Winds denying the force buy from Axolotl and forcing a tough decision. Likely going to have to be a save here out of the T's. And if that is the case, they're going to be allowing their opposition to go up to 10 rounds. It looks like yes. 1 D-Wall, 1 Tech 9, 1 P250, and 2 flashes. Where do they choose to take it? Right now it's a little bit split, which is surprising. At the same time, ACO going to spot towards mid, but it's a fast cap play. ACO spots out the first, spots out a second. At the same time, VPL not quite ready for a player that close, but no lives going to be exchanged early on. VPL trying to hunt for this first player, first frag. ACO still holding in mid, and Hobo playing back. Famas on ACO is going to be very nice in this close angle. Finds 1, finds 2, find 3 as Lakoki comes through for one of his own. At the same time, VPL, he's getting a little aggressive here towards Cat. It's going to have to be a quick jump up from Slugger, and unfortunately he's found a little too slow as VPL gets one for himself. So now a 4 versus 2 headshot from lower. Lakoki does manage to remain as the last player here. He has 1 on the round, has a second on the round. But no assistance from Borjaf nor the rest of his team. As he is now forced into the clutch himself. Choosing to try and probe this over towards B, and it is Butter posted up close on car. Is he going to be ready for this? He's clearing everywhere else. Does he choose to go up high? This could give him a huge advantage in the fight, but no. Butter ready for the aggression, ready for the kill. Lakoki tries he might. 2 frags on the round, not able to secure anything there in the close 1v3 situation. So Astral Winds. They're up to 10. And the low buy out of Axolotl will allow them to get some rifles on this round, get Borjaf back on his big green where we have seen him do monstrous damage this game. So can he make Lightning strike a few more times? I'd say twice, but it's going to have to be a little bit more than that. And it's an early 2-player lean over towards lower. ACO going to be going into the tons early. That's some early info that it's not a B-fast play. At the same time, some frags exchanged. Damn finding 1, Butter finding another. Dan trying to spot out again over towards this car. VPL does have his op, and ACO finally finds his frag onto Slugger over in B. So a 4 versus 3. Now gifted over towards Long, and VPL still trying to see if he'll be given anything again towards Long. ACO very confident in this tunnels that nobody is going to be striking his sight anytime soon. So Astral wins. They know they got him locked in Long. Poor Jeff, though, still on the big green, still a terror. And something that Vince is well aware of, going up against him many times in this game already. Teisel trying to support. Vince aimed up close. Will he be given anything here in the one? Oh, no. I was going to say the 1v3. It's not exactly that. Teisel showing why as he assists over towards Long. Simple trying to make it Simple against him. And Simple comes up huge. 2 frags there. Finding the Opper as well. Opening up this bomb site. But the bomb down in Long. Simple only on 7 HP. But that's all he needs. Tapping away against Hobo. And thrusting ACO into the clutch. But a jump necessary to get this bomb across. And I don't think ACO was spotted there. Having his back to CT, ACO not found. They aren't aware of him in this spot, but Borjaf's ready for it. Claims the headshot, and with it the round. And Axolotl finally strike here on the T side. Closing the gap back down to 4. And now is where they need to try and string some together. If they lose this second round, it is going to be very difficult to fight their way back in, but look at the money over on the CT side. They've got Teisel and Hobo already on rifles, but VPL, he's going to have to drop down onto an MP9. Butter does manage to get himself an M4, and Borjaf not going to find anything early there in that mid's play. And I don't know exactly what type of angle this is, but we'll pop over to ACO with the MP9. As he wants to just push right into B. Tons! He will find a player, but doesn't find a frag. Lokoki gets him early, and at the same time, it's VPL probing over towards Long. Some jumps, but the flash does deny him. Dan finding him out in the round, and a smoke is going to block off doors as this attack will come over towards Cat. Simple, he's going to be the first player to engage. Spots out Butter, but the flash doesn't get him off the angle, but Borjaf sure will. And now, it's Hobo in the CT position, trying to tap away at some heads. Runs out of bullets, has to switch to the lower gun. And now it is just Teisel here on the flank. Has Borjaf to find. Will he be ready for this player up close? He will be, and he finds it. Does he choose to switch the big green? No, he's staying with the M4. Does actually swap to it. Does he choose to save here? It looks like it will be a save call. Not quite aware that Slugger's as low as he is, but with the one-hit gun, doesn't really quite matter exactly how low that player is. All that matters is you're able to hit the shots when they count, and with the money already going to be forced low, it would have been a phenomenal round to win if he could clutch it in the 1v2, but it looks like they're choosing to play it safe and get some much heavier weaponry going into the next. And an additional frag there is Slugger. Even though he gets to bottom mid, not going to be enough to survive that bomb, so Axolotl come out of it with 1 player, but 1 round closer to tying it up. Teisel with the op. It's going to be a question. Does he drop this to VPL, buy something up himself? Does he drop it to VPL and, you know, just play something slow? And they're actually going to take a timeout, I think, to discuss this. Looks like it might be a discussion to just force into this, as VPL going to be allowed to get some sort of op here in this position, do something with it, and if him and Teisel can combine into some crucial frags, it could very easily be a round that goes their way, but at the same time, Axolotl, we haven't really seen any early just fast aggression towards a spot from this team on their T side. If they choose to do it here and they choose correctly, this could be a very dangerous round for Astral wins, because it could very quickly be going away, but VPL, it'll be interesting to see. Does he go for any sort of, you know, mid-angle? We've seen Borjaf want to just jump on that fight right off the rip, and neither player actually going to go for it. Borjaf will be towards Long. I don't know why it said we were on Borjaf. VPL finds the first frag on the Dan. And that's exactly what they needed to see. Now, it was a spot on this aggression towards top mid. Hobo trying just to tap away at that player's suicide. Teisel with the AK now trying to push through. Knows that there's a player here. He finds two. And at the same time, Hobo finally winning his duel. So now it's the man with the green gun and the plan in Borjaf to have to try and pull off a 1 versus 4 to get this round back. And we were saying this was more than likely just a round that was going to go Axolotl's way, with only an AWP and MP9 and very limited utility, and Butter just holding off against any sort of T-side push, so they know exactly where Borjaf is. And very patient here, just not giving the AWP any 1v1 fights. Borjaf looking desperately for them. He does have a player on the flank, and this could be an absolutely gigantic one. ACO spots him out, gets the frag, and Astral wins, squeezing water from Stone there to get onto the 11th. A great opening shot from VPL, followed up by 3 players just in rapid succession towards top mid, and they managed to capitalize, grabbing the gun. Teisel, a huge 2K, and Hobo very nicely placed onto the suicide player just to knock away any chances at Axolotl in that round. And look at this, it's a double op setup. They're going up against pistols, and they're choosing to bring out 2 ops here in this spot. One gonna go towards mid, the other gonna go towards B. Everybody else over towards A. And ACO does take some early cat control, just a little bit here into this elbow. And with only pistols, once again, Axolotl choosing to play very spread across this map. Slugger. Ooh, gets some spots out, but it's Teisel's op to ring out. First frag in the round found. It will be a question, does Borjaf try to maybe take a 1v1 duel against the player in mid? If he does, he'll be very caught off guard by this. AK playing close, and it looks like Hobo might even be aware that he's in this position. Yes, he will. Mollies him out. That's going to force the push out. Borjaf gets the spot against the op, but again, Hobo, he will rain out an ACO from Cat. Comes up big himself, and op does fall. Teisel picked away in the round, but Lukoki not going to be allowed to survive for long. ACO claims him and gets up to match point as Astral wins. Look to try and close it out here with 5 rounds to do so. Dust 2 picked by them. Axolotl chooses to start on the CT side, and they're going to have to they're going to have to show how strong their T can be if they want to close out here in the potential final 5 rounds of the map. And it's an early play towards long. Will this pay off? ACO spots out one. He's fully blind. Dan is as well, but he manages to trade the frag at the same time. VPL rains out over in mid. Hobo finds one in long, and now a 2v4 already off the back of this 20th round. Slugger does have an advanced position here. Is he going to be ready for this player up close? No, but the shot doesn't ring out. Is he ready for 2 players down in CT? Also no, and that's actually going to allow him to push forward. Finds VPL. Can he find a second? It's a spray, and he homes it. At the same time, Simple and Long finds one, and from a 2v4 to a 2v1, it's all on Teisel if they want to close this round out now. Slugger trying to be very careful of where this final player could be. Spotted out one by Teisel, spots out a second. It's a lot of early damage, and this nade could be absolutely huge, but it doesn't connect. And now Simple does manage to get this bomb down, but it's safe. And that molly will burn Simple a little bit. Teisel's going to hear that, and he's just going to have to stay tucked away behind the smoke. It's a flash for the CTs, a flash for the Ts, and is he going to be ready for Simple playing this close into the smoke? At the same time, Simple not exactly on the angle to deny Teisel. Teisel, ooh, that flash comes out in perfect timing, and Teisel blinded away as Simple and Slugger come away, robbing the cradle and getting their 8th round. 4 away from taking the map. Or, sorry, 4 away from securing overtime. As Astral wins, look to try and close this out with just 1. Simple the op in mid. Will he spot anything out? Spots a jump, and that's an early damage on the Teisel down to 8 HP. And this could be absolutely gigantic. It's a miss smoke as well. This is disastrous for him, as now he has to hold off against the whole weight of the T side. Buttermo, the only other player here that can have some impact. And this is a round where you have to question, do we already look to save if we're looking at the CT side economy? They do have a little bit of money on everybody, but it's almost certainly a buy next round if they can save all 4 of these guns. And with the take this fast onto the B site, with this much util still left on the T's, it's got to be considered. But Hobo, he doesn't want to give it away that easily. Borjaf picked away. An early fight found. Hobo hunting away in the smoke at the same time. These players on site ready and waiting. Slugger picking away against Hobo, and here it is, the call to save. All 3 of these remaining CTs want to get away, save this weaponry. They pick one out there in the remainder of the bomb site, and Dan will fall as well. Mac 10 gone, so they're not going to be too unhappy about losing that. But Axolotl, a very fast play. We said just a few rounds prior, we have not seen too many just fast site takes from them. And with an early spot out onto Teisel, that early damage, and spotting that missed smoke from Cave, it is the... from Carr. It is the absolute perfect time for them to just converge and snap the fly trap shut. Borjaf going to try to get lucky again in mid. Not going to be gifted any early damage this round. Hobo naded early. Down to 61. Koki. Oh, spots out VPL on the push, but somehow isn't able to home his spray into that fight. Got some early damage in lower off the back of a molly as well, but that shuts down any early information over towards B. And perhaps suggests a little bit more of a lean towards mid and A. But Axolotl just playing very far back, giving up a lot of map control here. And still Borjaf trying to hunt something here through these mid doors, but the smoke eludes him. That nade not going to do quite the opening up he wanted. Might also have been trying to throw that lower to help out his teammate if there was one playing close. VPL, ooh, the smoke fading at just the wrong time for him. Gets caught, just switching back to his gun, and that's simple to claim him. So Borjaf, flash over towards Cat. It's going to be a fight towards upper. Does manage to spot it out, but doesn't manage to win it. It's on Slugger to get the trade. And now it looks like Slugger wants to try and just go right out onto this site, but are they ready for the 2-player CT? They're ready for the first Teisel falls. Are they ready for Butter to be following in the wings? He's already up towards the boost. Knows there's a second player coming up from Cat, but here's the bomb going out, and this is so tempting, but he chooses not to jump. Simple in the meantime, gonna find ACO over towards Cat, and now it's all on Butter. Are they going to be able to hold off against him? And they are. Too many angles to cover. And Dan there to rip his skull clean off. It's a second timeout from Astral wins, as now this is getting a little too close for comfort. 5 rounds to close it out, now closed down to 2. And they're going to have to decide what they want to do this round on the buy. It's very limited money. Teisel and Hobo looking to already just claim out the Deagles. So it might be a half buy. VPL, of course, can afford to force, and it looks like he will. But it's a huge investment. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and sell that back. Going to choose a scout instead. Now, it will be interesting if he takes this fight mid and does win it against Borjaf. That could be gigantic, but Borjaf has been a demon on this gun. We've seen a little bit less of him here on the T side, but we've seen how deadly he can be just picking away these opponents, and looks like this might even be just another early B lean. Borjaf gonna drop lower. It's an early molly, perhaps anticipating a rush, and it's the exact perfect call. It's a lot of early damage over towards mid, over towards lower, but the tunnels push is not gonna pay off. Butter finds one, but that's all they're gonna find. At the same time, Lakoki pushes in close. That's ACO to find one. Can he find anything more? A 2 versus 3. It's not unwinnable. VPL, of course, still with the scout. And ACO, he is going to know that that gun has been pushed further in, so he's going to get something a little bit stronger as well. And with the call that the smoke's been made into CT, it could be all on ACO to win this one out, but they're not going to push B. It's a fadeaway towards Cat. Spots out the first towards box. Is he ready for the op of Borjaf? Already on lower. Doesn't look like it, but he doesn't give him the shot. It's VPL. Ooh, spotting the head of the first. It's the scout that's going to have to come up big. Doesn't connect. ACO finds one on the board, Jeff. That's the op claimed away. But now a 1 versus 2. He's got to decide if he goes for this. No kit on him, but plenty of room to work with. But with the op recovered, does he choose to save this? It looks like so. And Axolotl looks like they're going to steal away another round. I say steal away, but Dan Contracts with 3 kills on the round. Simple with 1 himself. The only real shining lights for the Astral wins were ACO with a nice early deagle shot and a recovered AK that claims him a second. And Butter there on that lower push, but that molly just damages them so hard. And already off the round, or sorry, off the start of that round, they're just not ready for that level of early top tons control. Simple, he's going to be pushing in close. This could be a little dangerous, but it should be fine. Oh, spotted at the very end. And neither player are going to lose their marbles in that spot. But it all comes down to this. Axolotl, they have fought their way back from the brink. 5 rounds were needed to get themselves back in overtime. And they sit on the cusp of doing just that. Oh, it's an early spot. Once again, Borjaf, the early mid damage is going to do numbers to ACL. At the same time, this smoke from ACO over towards B just delays any sort of further aggression, and don't know why it's saying we're on board Jaff there. It's Butter who gets spotted out on Cat. The headshot angle from Lakoki gonna claim his life. And at the same time, now it's this time the A-bomb site underprepared. Nade gonna come through on the VPL, tags him very low. No further follow-up from that Xbox player. And things are looking very poor for the Astral wins. They're going to need to have a phenomenal hold here in mid as the smokes, the mollies start to rain out. And poor Jaff's off will do so as well. VPL gets fallen in the exchange, but Hobo will find Slugger. Now trying to nade into the smoke, trying to hold off against any further aggression at the same time. That's the bomb down! And ACO caught with Simple's head on a swivel. A follow-up smoke. It's a spot through the smoke there onto Borjaf, who survives with 2 health points. And Astral wins. It's going to have to be gigantic from them. And Hobo just burns away in the molly. Teisel with it all to do. Everything on his back. And a 1v4 now necessary. Astral wins looked to be running away with this. But Axolotl showing exactly why this is a creature that can recover from the brink of death and fight its way back in, as overtime going to be necessary on Dust 2 to choose a winner. And it swept the teams. That, of course, didn't happen. So apologies there. For some reason, the HUD thinks that we swapped teams going into overtime. No. Axolotl, 3 more chances here on the T side to do some damage. And Astral wins. Have they figured out how these players are looking to crack in? It's VPL. He wants to get aggressive early in mid. Same time, Slugger, he's setting himself up just to smoke over towards doors. It says we're on VPL, but of course we're on Borjaf trying to spot out something as Hobo claiming Dan with a nice boost there into lower. At the same time, VPL, he's going to hear there's a player close. Is he ready? At the same time, is Lakoki ready for the possibility that there could be a player this pushed into lower? We have not seen much of this out of Astral wins, and we could be seeing a 2-round trade go the way of... a 2-man advantage go the way of Astral wins, and we do for a moment. But Slugger does not allow it to stay for long. And speaking of long... currently still some shuffling around of the CT players, but we'll see Simple, Slugger. They want to try and start pushing, Simple and Borjaf want to start trying to push over towards long at the same time. Hobo claims Slugger away. No ops left for the CT side. Not even buying one in this round. And Simple, he's going to have to come up huge on the site. He finds ACO to begin it. Butter already set up over towards Catside site. He peeks out late, finds a player with a nade in the hand, and finally will connect onto the spray. Borjaf the op, it's gonna have to come up gigantic, doesn't find an initial shot, but he's going back and forth, and Hobo just spamming through the smoke, manages to secure that op away, and finally Astral Winds will strike again on this CT side, and that's gonna prompt a timeout from the Aquatic team. Axolotl going to be reconsidering what exactly they want to look at here on this T side. Where do they want to aim it? What exactly went wrong there? VPL now going to be opt up. Does he choose to try and take a fight over towards mid? They know that Borjaf's been favoring it. He, of course, didn't go for that early mid-doors shot last round, but could they be going back to their tried and true here now that they are, of course, being forced a little further in? Time will tell. 13 to 12, Astral wins. Ooh, it's going to be another pause. Not quite sure who called it. Might have been a technical pause? Not quite sure. We pull open this to just try and see, but not going to be quite aware who calls this. Looks like it might be a tech issue. And regardless, let's go ahead and pull open the scoreboard, because we've got Hobo sitting on 24, followed by ESEA on 21. Teisel, Butter, and VPL to follow them up, and if we pop over, we'll see Simple leading the charge at 20. But he's got two players flanking him, Dan Contrax and Borjaf, who have been absolutely huge. We've seen the contributions they can have. Lukoki and Slugger, some great individual contributions from them. But nothing paying off here in this first half of overtime. So are we going to see it? Are we going to see a duel over towards mid? Looks like Borjaf does want to try and go for it. It's going to be an early boost. And no, VPL does not want to fight this. It's an early boost just to see if they'll spot out anybody going over towards lower, but not going to be given anything there on that approach. Actually, VPL does choose to get a little brazen here and peek over towards them. But the fight does not pay off. Now it could be another op duel. The smoke gonna get blown open, and that could be a fight, but Borjaf, so quick on the trigger, claims him away. So already the T's a one-man advantage, and it's a long take already underway. Butter gonna have to come up big here as a player approaching over towards ramp. He is aware that there could be one this close already, but is he gonna be quick enough on the trigger? Caught with a molly out, and actually Simple gonna take a fight against Teisel. Butter does trade it out, but Dan and Slugger come with one apiece, and it's ACO thrust into the clutch once more. And does he choose to try and get anything out of this? Looks like he wants to try and do a little bit more damage himself. It is Borjaf, of course, behind him, pushed through long. And that could be a pain in the side if it gets far enough in, but right now it's essentially a 1v2 on the site. Borjaf very far away. ACO has no way of knowing that, of course. Gets the first dink, can't exactly connect there. He does have a nade, does have a molly, but he doesn't have the time to try and toss him out. Finds a second. And this could be an absolutely gigantic clutch if he could pull it out. I think he might have been able to get that defuse off if he stuck it, but no way of knowing that Lukoki was giving him the space. So tries to fake off a little bit of an overreaction there from the T side, but no dice, and Lukoki showing why sometimes in these critical moments he is able to strike and able to secure Axolotl a 13th, as we see which of these teams will claim the win in the first half of overtime. No op going to be found here on the Astral Winds side. Borjaf, going to be very happy about that. Though, of course, he hasn't really been struggling to find the wins against the big greens, so might not mind to him one way or the other. Smoke will block off his angle here onto the site. As we're timing, of course. At the same time, Teisel just spamming out against the smoke in mid. Axolotl, they choose to lean over towards B early this round, but they're not given anything early. Butter trying to spot out a little over towards Cat, and Teisel giving away that he's still aimed up here on Xbox. Borjaf looks like he wants to be the one to try and take this fight at the same time. Lukoki gonna be throwing some util, setting up some smokes over towards CT, and this looks like it might just be a quick ol' mid to B. Gonna be a takeover in mid. Teisel set up over towards the rafter already to try and fight off against this. Simple finding VPL there on the long take at the same time, and Hobo connects with Teisel, managing to hold off against anything early B, and it's going to be Butter up here on Cat to try and spot out this early info. It's going to be a smoke falling out just to try and delay this push, sees the additional util coming out, but will they get brazen? Will they try to push this smoke? Doesn't look like it yet. This flash could allow it. First goes through, second goes through, and Butter and Teisel connect onto two beautiful frags, keeping themselves in it. A 2 versus 4 now needed, but we've seen Simple in these spots before. Sees ahead, but isn't able to connect onto it. Does find Teisel there on the the swing from lower, but Hobo gonna claim away Borjaf in the same time. So Simple, it all to do. A little bit of a fake smoke there from ACO, making him think that a pop flash was coming out, but 4 seconds left on the round, and that'll be Astral wins. They're gonna rip this one away, and 14-13, they will go up by 1 here at the end of the first overtime. So 2 away from taking this map. But Axolotl, they were 5 away from losing it at one point, and they fought back. Could they clean sweep the CT side this time and pull themselves into a winning map 1? Or will Astral wins finally put the nail in the coffin that they have been waiting so long to do? It's going to be no ops over on the T side. Does suggest maybe something fast. Or, of course, suggests some more confidence with the rifles. Borjaf in mid. It's going to be an early long take. Hobo finds the first. Can they find the second? It's Slugger here trying to do something, and the Molly finds its win onto Hobo. But Lukoki having to fall away because he loses a second player in that struggle. So 4v3. And already this op going to be called back over towards the site, but it's a slow play now from the Astral Winds side. Looking to see if they'll be gifted anything, and Simple, the lone defender on this B site, might have a little bit more company than he was expecting here in a moment. Smoke will be fading shortly. And they should remember that earlier on, Dan, very deadly from this exact same spot, one that they, of course, have used, and this aggression might actually not pay off in the favor of Simple, but that spray will give away that they're set up here, and Simple, he's taking these fights, he's trying to get this man advantage whittled away, but he loses his life with only 1. Lukoki already up into the window, he finds the first, now it's a 2v2. It's going to allow Borjaf to start rotating in. It's going to be a flash to set up his teammate onto the site take. It's going to be an early spot, but Butter wins the duel. And now it's Borjaf. They know that this player has been set onto the op through the majority of the game. Will they be expecting him to be on one once again? Butter wants to try and secure this into a bottom left plant. And Borjaf well aware that there's likely a player watching him car, but it's not going to allow him for much as Butter ripping 2 heads away there in a crucial spot to get Astral Winds up onto map point once again. Axolotl, they did it down by 5. Can they do it again down by 2? A very good attempt to stay in that one after an early man advantage. Goes the opposite way. And Simple, I still think a little brazen there on the tons push, just kind of staying in a little too long when he gets the info that the whole team is over, but he does manage to get a kill out of it, allows Lukoki to get back up in time, and Borjaf, he's down over towards tunnels already, but not managing to connect anything, but he gets out just in time before a player could maybe rain hell upon him at bottom Xbox. Astral Winds seeming very comfortable on this T side, but still 80 seconds to play with here in this round. And they need to see what they can do with it. Borjaf once again aimed up on mid. And it looks like Simple wants to probe a little over towards long. A little bit of a read maybe that they have not, of course, taken this long position. Smoking a nade. And Borjaf, will he be gifted anything off this probe? He will! Flicks straight up into Hobo. And just remains perched in CT. It's going to be a smoke over onto him. At the same time, the door going to get smoked off, but no aggression through it from this T side. Instead, a little bit of a lean over towards Cat. And at the same time, these players kind of being baited over into a B-site rotate, but Dan finds one in the meantime. That's going to make this into a 3 versus 5 situation, but right now it's a 3 versus 1. Call it a 3 versus 2, as Slugger is rotating up here through CT, but it has to be big out of Lukoki. He finds a first. Can he find anything more? It's VPL and Butter, but Lukoki and Slugger managing to secure a 1 versus 4 situation and put themselves within one of the map. Axolotl. I don't know much about this creature, but I know that it's damn hard to kill. And they are showing why exactly they inspirit that animal. And body and spirit, who cares? Because it's all coming once again down to 1 round. And it's going to be interesting. Will this man right here, who has been so instrumental in early mid control, be able to find anything out of this spot? Just going to be jumping for info over on the right side, but if Borjaf decides just to poke a little bit further right, he won't. So Butter not going to be punished at all here in this slightly precarious spot. At the same time, it's only simple on this site. It's a quick rotate from Borjaf if need be. But it looks like the Ducks are quickly being aligned over into a B site take. At the same time, Borjaf going to be allowed to rotate over, so the longer they take to decide on this hit, the more defenders are going to join up, ready and waiting to strike onto it. Now sitting over towards back site at the same time, T-side players looking to try and redirect themselves over, and Borjaf now going to be put in a very crucial spot. So frags to find, finds the first. VPL found. The smoke's raining out. Blocking over against window, against door. The second op shot doesn't rain out, and that's going to be Tyson to find his first. Simple. Finding himself falling in the meantime, finding himself a frag in the meantime, and with it, 2 more. All of a sudden, it's ACO in the clutch, and Simple a 4K to put them into double overtime here on Dust 2. And Astral wins, they got to be kicking themselves. They were 1 round away from closing this game off 7 times now. And Axolotl, they refuse to die. So it has to be asked if they finally manage to maintain a lead. Now that 19 is needed to win it, could they be the ones to push us over the line? Oh, and apologies. Once again, HUD, of course, getting a little confused. But we will see it once again. 3 more rounds out of Astral wins on the T side, and Axolotl seem to be much more woken up here in their defensive prowess. Simple and early flash just to scare off any early B leaners. At the same time, Astral looks like they want to try and maybe make this a fight into long. A flash Tyson out early. Nobody playing up close here. And they will rotate back over that op of Borjaf, who, I mean, we've been hyping him up, but Simple. I mean, what a machine. So many multi-kill rounds out of him just to deny push after push. Smoke going to come through onto CT. It is only going to be this op in this spot, so VPL, going to be allowed to maybe avenge his teammate of Tyson as that frag will be found. At the same time, Butter, he's still here in mid. He's going to hear that these rotates are coming over towards A early. So if he could find a frag here in this spot, just smoke off over into CT, this could be a very quick B rotate. 2 players, of course, already stacked up onto cap. And it's a smoke onto the B doors. I have to imagine that's a missed smoke. Actually, it might not have been. Might be a smoke just to bait these players into thinking that this is an early cat take, but Simple, once again, the final defender of the bomb site, and he does it again! 3 frags! 1 more to find. VPL won't give it to him, but now 5 scalps to find with the gun that fires 1 apiece. And Simple, a 30 bomb for him so far on the game. And yeah, you gotta take a timeout after that because, oh, how destructive is that every single time they try to take B. It's this one player in window who is ready and waiting just to rip their dreams away. And it does have to be stated, one smoke that Astral Winds has been struggling with throughout this map is that window smoke. So the one spot that has just been a bane in their side, they just cannot deny. So Axolotl, they now take a lead. And what we talked about just moments ago might come into fruition. Now that they've been given an inch, will they take a mile? Right off the rip, Teisel, he wants to get a little bit more aggressive and takes a lot of damage in the process, but chooses not to push through into simple, which, according to the last few rounds, might be the smartest choice of the game. At the same time, ACO Hobo just probing over here towards tunnels. And it's got to be said, Borjaf, this little early Xbox control into trying to find a pick towards lower has not really allotted him many kills, but it is just allowing him so much early information. And once again, smoke blown open, frag secured. So Axolotl 1 round up, 1 man up at this stage. And Astral Wind's trying to decide where they want to take this. If they do take it B, their Kryptonite is not currently there ready and waiting. But the Molly is going to come through. Does do a little bit of damage, but currently no frags found. It's Borjaf looking to try and secure an early frag. He does. Teisel shut down. Lukoki boosted up. Struggles a bit on the spray, but him and Dan come together 1 apiece to leave ACO the lone player here in a 1 versus 5. Nobody yet found. Slugger wants to try and flash through, but just decides, hey, you know what? I got a gun. I got bullets. Who needs to blind him when killing him is all that's necessary? So Axolotl 1 round away themselves now from a clean sweep in overtime 2. And Astral Wind's looking a little rattled. And if Axolotl can maintain this going into their T side, well, things might be over before we know it. So what is the play? It's a good old-fashioned B-rush. But look, oh look, who's gonna be ready and waiting for it. It's Slugger. It's simple. They know these players are coming. They find the first 2, but are desperately trying to escape. And Simple and Slugger will clean it up with a full house and put Axolotl on a clean sweep in overtime 2. 1 round away. And this is where the magic needs to happen. Astral Winds need to channel some of that early energy. The energy that got them to a 12-7 lead. So that they can avoid getting knocked out with 19 sitting on their opponent's side of the ticker. The ACO, an early lean over towards long. Koki wants to get into lower tons right off the rip. VPL just holding B site all by his lonesome here with his own scoped gun, but we've seen the longer this game has gone on, the more these CT players have been seeming to struggle in these fights. Teisel, it's actually a double op setup. I wasn't even really quite aware of that going into this. Borjaf's flash. Borjaf, sorry. We'll force him off the angle. So 60 seconds remaining. Smoke over towards CT. Does this force any sort of counter-aggression out of the CTs? Doesn't seem too early. And Butter spots out a first. Stays up close, and that's Simple. But he's immediately traded, and that's a player you need to find on the CT side. Teisel finds 1. Quickly traded, and the double op setup evaporates as Lukoki finds 2. So Hobo spamming through the smoke, trying to desperately find some damage and re-equalize this man advantage. But look at this, it's Dan. He's up close, he's up personal, and the remaining T's are just gonna allow him to work his magic. He's gonna be spotted out early, but head on a swivel claims Hobo, and it's all on ACO. We've seen him in earlier matches come up gigantic. And will he do it again? It's an op! One bullet necessary to close this out. Is he going to be ready for the player big bucks? He has to. He has to find him. But Lukoki will come up huge. And 3 kills from him will land a first map for Axolotl after being down 7-12. They come back and win it all 19-15 and force us into train. Heartbreaking for Astral wins. Exhilarating for the aquatic axolotls. And oh my goodness, we're going to need a second ourselves just to breathe and get ready to go into map number 2. So we will be taking a few minutes ourselves, but when we come back, we will be seeing Train come out here between these players. And once again, a heart-pounding match. Will Astral Winds be able to fight their way onto an Inferno Decider, or has Axolotl finally woken up and here to show why you can be cute, but you can also be quite deadly?